Hello and welcome to Kit's Photography. I'm Kit from Bremac Photography here in sunny South Australia. Welcome to my channel. Hello and welcome for this week. This time I'm doing something again a bit different from normal. I'm going on a trip. So we headed off to Mount Gambier. This is on the eastern side of South Australia, famous for its blue lake. So the lake wasn't terribly blue this time, but still we went along, took some great photographs, some great footage, and you'll get to see that now. So we started off on one side of the lake and thought we'd walk around the other way and see what we could find. You can see here the other side of the pumping station. These are some of the photographs that I got of the lake itself. Really not too bad. However, the water itself wasn't very blue this time because it changes from time to time during the year. You can see how it's relatively grey. But this is a photograph I took a few years ago when it was really, really blue, and it actually is that blue. When you have a bath, your bath comes out that colour. When travelling around, it's always good to try and find something interesting to photograph. I found these gum nuts were a perfect example of that. So we crossed the road on an underpass, climbed some stairs, and we came across the other side of the lake. This area was famous for a horse that was jumped over a gully. And this is a turret. I'd call it a rook, to be honest, like a chess piece. Again, some more stairs. There's always lots and lots of stairs. And you get another view of the lake. And now right up the very top. More and more and more and more and more stairs. But that's not it yet. There's even more stairs. Lots and lots and lots of stairs. But at the top, it looks absolutely fantastic. You can really get a whole view of the entire lake from here. And the surrounding volcanoes. So I thought this was an ideal time to take some photographs. This is a water tank stroke sculpture, and with anything like this you can create some decent photographs. Now back to Mount Gambier. We started off at the sinkhole. This is an area right in the middle of Mount Gambier, inside the town itself, where you can climb right down into the bottom of a sinkhole. This has been a tourist spot for over 100 years. And just in case you didn't know already, beware of the steps. It really is spectacular, with very, very tall trees growing from the bottom. And lots of wasps. There's a permanent spring that runs through the area here, creating running water, which has done this for centuries. Those trees really are very tall. These vines are also absolutely massive, going up for an extremely long way. Good time to take a photograph. This looks as though it's in the middle of the Northern Territory. So about half an hour's drive out of Mount Gambier is a place called Port McDonald. Now it's an old fishing village and it's again really good for video and photographs. Unfortunately the day was a bit cloudy, but still it was a really fantastic time. I hope you enjoy this bit. Port McDonald is a fascinating area famous for catching crayfish. The water is so clear but very cold. But the birds love it. There seem to be copycat seagulls. Now we're back to Mount Gambier, to the other sinkhole, which is much deeper and in some ways is more interesting. Again, so many stairs. There are stairs everywhere. These are created by volcanic chasms that have collapsed over time. Unfortunately, there's lots of junk and things like shopping trolleys and bicycles thrown down there. But there is some wildlife as well. Now, I'm not sure whether this is a common and garden Rattus rat or whether it's actually a marsupial rat, but still, it's some fauna. Some dirty, dirty fauna. It really is remarkable having this in the middle of a town. It's been there for a long time. And here's another one of our friendly rats. Back to the main street. And wait a minute, is that Spider-Man? Mount Gambier really is lovely. There's so much to do, so many places to walk and so many places to take photographs. As you can see, there's so much to see and do around Mount Gambier. So many cave systems and all sorts of exciting places to explore. The next thing we did was about, again, half an hour out of Mount Gambier. We came across a place called the Tantanoola Caves. Tantanoola Caves, best way to say it. And this is a really interesting and quite spectacular cave system, not only for the fact that the stalactites and stalagmites are so incredibly beautiful, but they actually have some which grow upwards, which is, that sounds really strange. Okay, so stalagmites grow from the ground up. I'm talking about stalactites that grow down, round and back up again. Really, really interesting. But you'll have to wait and see these photographs. These caves are unique and amazing. The formations are just so intricate and so detailed. You do need a very, very fast lens to capture these photographs though, because it is relatively dark. These scratch marks here were made by an animal around 10,000 years ago. And because of the climate in this cave, they haven't worn away. One can really get some good images in a cave like this. The next big stop was a town called Kingston SE, which stands for Southeast. Now, there's one really interesting thing about Kingston, and that is Larry the lobster. Now, I'd argue that he's a crayfish because he doesn't have pincers, but he is called a lobster. This is the great big giant lobster. You know, around Australia there are lots and lots of giant things for tourists, and there was a time when the council there was thinking about getting rid of Larry the lobster, but so many people from around Australia complained about it that they decided to fix him up, and there he is today. So I hope you enjoy this bit. You've got to love a giant crayfish or lobster, depending how you want to say it. This guy is fantastic, brings lots of tourists into Kingston SE and has been there for as long as I can remember. In the final part, it's just the drive home, and the exciting thing about it is we went across a ferry. Now, this is not a great big massive sea-going ferry, this is across the Murray River at Wellington. So I hope you enjoy. Now for the ferry. These ferries are great fun, they're free to go on, and they essentially are just a continuation of the road. They run 365 days a year and are really, really good fun to go across. So many windmills. The ferry's getting closer. And look at that sunset. Here we go, across the ferry. This is the Murray River. And off we go. The countryside is absolutely beautiful in this part of the world, especially during the winter when it's really green and lovely. South Australia is a great place to take photographs and be a photographer. Well, thanks for joining me this time on Kit's Photography. I hope you've enjoyed this episode. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. Subscribers are going up. It's fantastic. You're doing a really good job. And I'll see you next time.